And then I remember overhearing one of the directors talk about directing Vanessa Redgrave, and he was like, oh, when she's on camera, it's like directing a Rolls Royce. If someone asked him, what is it like to direct Ali? He would have said, it's like directing a Toyota Yaris.
A lot of comedians use analogies, but it's how Ali Wong uses analogies that makes her joke so potent. Before I show you the joke that we're going to focus on today, I have to mention that no less than 2 previous versions of this video have been taken down by YouTube. I'm going to do my best and just tell you the joke so that I don't have to keep remaking this video. But please, please just press pause. Watch it on YouTube. I'll link the video of the joke below. Okay, press pause. Like right now. Okay, now that you're back, I'll just set up the joke and tell it to you. Ali Wong, in all her pregnant glory, starts off by saying that everyone has HPV. Yeah, this joke's about HPV, and Ali's got it. And so she says, if you don't have it, you're gonna get it. Why?
A lot of men don't know that they have HPV because it's undetectable in men.
Then she says, HPV is a ghost that lives inside men's bodies, and says boo in women's bodies. Ali Wong's making a joke about an uncomfortable truth. Almost everyone gets uncomfortable when the subject of sexually transmitted diseases comes up. But HPV is an especially sensitive topic just because of how little we talk about it. Obviously, Ali's wrong when she says that everybody has HPV, but a lot of people have been exposed to it. About 75 to 80% of people who are sexually active, in fact, either have HPV or have been exposed to it. And what makes this disease so prevalent is that so many men don't know that they have it.
A new study now reveals men are increasingly infected with the virus. More than 11 million men have oral HPV, and like Jason, don't even know it.
Now there's a second level to this joke. What makes it even a little bit more uncomfortable is that HPV is especially prevalent in certain Asian American communities and amongst Asian American women.
I'm half Chinese and half Vietnamese, and
It's a really heavy topic, so Ali helps her audience to navigate through all this discomfort by using a really clever analogy. But before I explain how, we need to understand what is the purpose of analogies. Analogies use what we know about one thing to help explain something that's much less familiar. Back when Bill Clinton was president, John Pollock was one of his speechwriters, and he wrote a book about analogies called Shortcut. Listen to how he defines what analogies are.
Some of you might be wondering what exactly is an analogy. After all, they come in a lot of different disguises. Metaphors, cliches, parables, proverbs, legal arguments. Here's a useful definition. At its core, an analogy is a comparison that asserts similarities between two different things. And whether we realize it or not, we make analogical comparisons all the time.
If you think about analogies as having a function or a purpose, it's easier to make sense of how they become the major building blocks for analogical arguments. So how does this happen? When do analogies go from explaining something to making an argument? Where analogies use similarities between two things to help us understand the thing that's less familiar. Analogical arguments rely on the significance of those similarities to make a new claim about their similarities. In other words, they assume that the similarities are so significant that you can conclude that one other similarity must be true.
My mom always said, Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
If we were to break this down into a formal argument, we would begin with the following premise. Premise 1 claims that object A, say a box of chocolates, and object B, say life, that these two things have a number of important similarities. It becomes an analogical argument, however. One suggests that the similarities are so significant that if object A, say the box of chocolates, had a particular new property, say unexpected, then object B, life, must also share that same property. This is the logical form of an analogical argument, or argument by analogy. So let's go back to Ali Wong's joke. In the joke, she's creating an analogical argument by saying that HPV is like a ghost. If we were to break down her joke into an analogical argument, it would look like this. Ghosts and HPV both share certain properties, that they inhabit people's bodies. And just in the same way that ghosts, object A, surprises people because they're undetectable in their bodies, HPV also surprises women, especially Asian American women, who unknowingly have it. Ali Wong's making a joke about a very uncomfortable truth. We want to listen to the truth because it's funny, but we're also sticking around to confront it at the same time. Analogies, especially when they're used in satire, can be really powerful. Alright, hopefully you'll get to see this one.